Hi, we are live from the Raven Street Dance Studio, and we are here today with a pair of these scrub moccasins here, or Meskwaki style, and they were made back in the early 50s, possibly into the 40s. So these are about 75 years old. They've been worn by the original owner, and then I acquired the outfit a few years back. And with wear and tear, I mean, they get really dirty from the mud. It's really hard to keep moccasins, but especially pucker-toe moccasins, clean because there's no hard sole on there. So I didn't know what to do at first. You know, I was scared to clean them. What if they are mess up? These are antique vintage moccasins that are irreplaceable. But you know what? You better use them or lose them. So I'm going to show you how I got it this white here today. First off, you don't know, well, it's best to know what type of hide that you're using. If it's brain tanned or if it's commercial tanned, has a lot to do with how you will go about cleaning it and the supplies that you will use to do so. It's always good to try and get off the excess dirt if there's loose dirt on there first, because you don't want that to be like pressed into the hide. So sweep off or brush off the excess dirt, you know, with a toothbrush or with a actual shoe brush that you can get from, you know, your local Walmart. We're going to get that dirt off, and then now we're going to wash the flaps. The flaps, you can use some Shout. Be careful because you honestly never know. One time I did have some pre-treatment spray that I sprayed on a jingle dress that had been stained with the rust from the cones, and because I let it sit on there, it bleached the fabric. So you have to be careful. It's best to test it, but just don't leave it soaking in too long because, you know, it can make the fabric bleed or bleach it. So I use warm water, not too hot because it can affect, you know, the shape of the satin. But you're going to need some warm water to get these stains out. I mean, they are 75 years old potentially. So we're waiting here for the water to warm up, and we pre-treated it, and then I just put some Gain. You can use whatever dish soap, or you can actually use laundry detergent. Put it on there, and I rub it together. Using its own fabric against each other, you know, has less of a risk of, if you used, per se, like this on there, it would dislodge some of the strings or tear the fabric because it is old, and also just because this is a very tender and delicate area. I had already washed this side, but you know, it needed to let's wash it a little more. I didn't spray it like I did the other side, but I just don't want to overspray because like I said, I did wash this side earlier. So go ahead and rinse it off. You can see the dirt is just lifted right off these moccasins. They were immaculately made by their artist. There's not one stitch, not one tear in these flaps, or even in the sewing of the moccasin, the hide. It is okay to get your hide wet. It can lose its shape. It's best that if you get the hide wet, to make sure that when you're letting it dry, to maybe put like the plastic trash bags inside, so that it dries with a good shape. Because if you just leave it up to dry on its own, it could crinkle the wrong way and lose its shape. So now these flaps are nice and clean, and I did use the hot water or warm water. Now I'm going to go back and rinse with a nice cold. It seals in the color so that it's not like exposed. It's kind of like your skin. Fabric has pores. So when you use the warm water, it does open up the threads, and it helps you loosen the dirt out. But then going back and rinsing it with a nice cold will seal those threads back up so that they're not loose. Okay, so squeeze the extra water out. Make sure the flaps stay away from this sole that, you know, has gotten dirty over the years. It's not too bad though. And now that your hide is wet, you see we're going to keep these flaps away from it because we don't want them to absorb the dirt from the hide. So I'm going to go ahead and spray a little bit of the pre-treatment same way. Be careful because if you overly clean or put a lot of products on this hide, then you're running the risk of it interacting, if it is commercially tanned, to react with the chemicals that it was used, you know, when in the tanning process. hides that are brain tanned and done traditionally, they are very sturdy and smoked, very sturdy, and they are easier, honestly, to clean because you're not dealing with that chemical element. A lot of times all you need is just a mild soap and water for the brain tan hide, whereas the commercial tanned, it seems that once it gets stained, it's a little bit harder to help it, to remove them, because those chemicals are, after they tan them, they seal them. It seals the hide. So if the hide gets dirty, then it's almost like it's sealed into the hide and it's hard to remove. It's always good to test or keep a swatch of your product. I'm pretty sure no one has a piece of this hide that I could have tested on. I could have tested on the back, but I've done a lot of projects like this, and so I knew what would work and what wouldn't. Getting tongue-tied here. So use your toothbrush as well to get in there, and you'll see that the stains will start to come out. It is safe on the hide to use this as well. A nice scrub brush, not one that's like Brillo with the steel wool. I used it on this other hide and it got some debris in it. Make sure you're working with a clean sponge. But it kind of scrapes off that top layer gently. If you used Brillo or steel wool, it might go too deep into the hide and make it real thin and cause tears, especially with something that's been made 75 years ago. You can already see where one side's coming cleaner. So I'm going to stop there. Once you've gotten it to a desired cleanliness, now you got to work with it. It may take you multiple times of adding soap, rinsing, and then re-adding to get it to, the cleanliness that or the color that you're desiring. This toe right here is going to be really hard to get it out, but you just keep a scrubbing, just like the style of dance these go with. See, that's looking better. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and step over here and show you what we did once it dried. Let that sit there. Come on over here to this one that is already dried, the first one that we did. You can see that, look how clean that is compared to the way that it looked earlier. And then I take chalk. This chalk is a lifesaver. If I put this chalk directly onto the dirty hide, it wouldn't penetrate and get the stain out first. You want to lift the stain and then use the chalk. So as you can already see, look at the difference between these two. This has been chalked already, and I'm just going to show you the technique really quick that I've used. I place my hand inside the moccasin, and then my fingers are in here, and I noticed that when I went up and down, like back and forth, that it was showing a variation in the cleaning of the chalk, how the chalk was absorbing just based on where my fingers were. So I took it circular. Our world is a circle. This hide is an example of the circle of life. Once this was a deer, and then it became our dinner, and then it became our clothing. And it is still living through us today. So see how when you use it circularly, and you can alternate going clockwise and then counterclockwise, and you can see that it actually blends better when you do so. Going back and forth, it's not, see how that's uneven? Circular. And you'll have to wipe off the excess dust, but you see how much wider it is than this hide. So next time your scrubs need a scrub-a-dub, try some of these techniques, and if you have any of your own, let me know. Shki.